Guਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ, ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ
Uh,
ਫਤਿਹ. Yes, people, how are we all doing? We're back with another episode. We hope you've been keeping well, keeping active, keeping fit and safe. For those of you who are new to this episode and may have not seen my face before, my name is Hamaraj, aka Flexing, and as you can probably tell by the name, I'm quite into my sports. And on the topic of sports, I want to introduce you guys to my guest here today, who is not only a karate sensei, but he's also a very talented musician too. Introducing Amrit Ghatore, Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji
Thanks,
Ki
bye.
Fateh. My bro,
How are you
how are
doing,
you
brother? Good?
doing?
I'm
I'm
doing
good,
very
man. I'm
well, thank
good.
you.
It's been quite a while since we last met.
It has, yeah, it's been a while. Obviously, the whole world went on standby with the whole COVID situation. But yeah, have you been keeping well? Everyone's safe and well, I hope.
Everyone's well and safe. Thank you for asking, and I hope your family's doing well too, and all your friends. I mean,
All
you
good,
live
brother.
around the London region, don't you?
Yes, yeah.
So how's
In
like
West
the
London, yeah.
conditions over there, like? Is it okay?
It depends area to area. The cases start spiking. Unfortunately, it's just one of those. It's just one of those problems, obviously, where everybody wants to get back to normality, and then
Mm.
obviously not taking necessary precautions into measure, then things start to spike, and unfortunately, people are hospitalized. But it's something that we all have to obviously manage with and try to adjust our life. I think everyone's adjusting their life, their business, in order to kind of like you know tailor around the safety precautions that we need to do in order to stay safe.
Most definitely, most definitely. So what have you been up to during this lockdown period?
To be honest with you, um, I've been spending a lot of time with family, a lot of time with dad. I don't usually always get time to do that because I'm running around. My schedule is like jam packed.
Yeah,
From AM to PM. So in a way, it's given me an opportunity to slow life down, spend a lot of time with family, and have a detox from social media. Though most of you know my social media, I haven't really posted anything much, and
mm,
it's because it's. I think it's important to do that. I think it's important to reflect on your life and not to just obviously it's difficult. We're living in a social media world right now, so everyone's posting, and it's really good to do that because it has an effect on everyone else around you, positive effect. Um,
mhm.
but there's times when you need to just kind of take a step back, absorb, soul search, spend time with family, because we're always looking ahead. We're never just focusing on the now and appreciating what we have at the moment. So it's a big eye opener. Obviously, you see, and I've had a lot of friends as well who have passed away, unfortunately, due to the COVID. So it just puts life into perspective for you.
Definitely, definitely. And my marriage do get upon the family too, and hopefully you guys are keeping well
100%.
too at home and safe. And of course, yeah, conditions are terrible, but it's also a blessing in disguise where you can actually spend more time with your loved ones where you don't normally used to
100%.
in your average day. And I like how you talk about
100%.
social media being, I like how you were talking about detoxing away from social media because, in a way, social media is good, but like medicine, you can't overdose on social media. So it's good to step back
Mm,
and you kind of reflect on what you're doing, which is fantastic. So I think it's good. I think it's good.
definitely. I think there's a fine line to allow. Uh, Social media for me has always been a tool, and I've used it to obviously make a positive impact and to share what I need to share, what I feel I need to share. But it's never used me, and I think unfortunately
Mhm.
there are some people who become so attached to the idea of social media that it becomes their life, unfortunately, and without it they don't feel any sense of purpose. So yeah, I think what you said, obviously, having a detox and spending time with the real life is
Yeah.
really important, you know?
Definitely. And I think back in the day when social media wasn't around, I think like it was a lot more different. You can spend time with your family. And I think like for a
Yeah,
like a karate sensei master like you could probably spend more time doing what you love and probably have more people participating at your dojo. And I'll be getting to
oh,
that topic now as well because karate is such a big sport, such a big martial art. I mean, how did you start training into martial arts and karate in particular?
I did it, and I started when I was like 3 years old. My dad was my sensei. He was my teacher, and I didn't have a choice. So I was basically, pushed in the deep end, and I kind of had two options: either, thrive or just, coast. So I was never allowed to just coast. So yeah, I've been doing it for a very, very, very long time.
Yeah,
And do you know what? Funnily enough, this is the longest time I've ever spent not going to the dojo in my whole life since I was 3 years old. This 6 months of the
really?
dojo being closed, yes, been the longest time I've never not been to the dojo. I've never had more than a 4 week break. So you go abroad, you come back from the dojo.
Hmm.
Since I was 3 years old, it's the longest I've ever been away from the dojo, and I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it, honestly. The dojo is really important for me as a Sikh. You wish to follow a certain path in life, and I genuinely feel that the dojo is par on par atmosphere wise, like going to the gurdwara. It keeps you on the straight and narrow. It puts you in the company, a sangat that all have the same vision in mind. It's a very family oriented atmosphere. Everyone's willing to help, share. Um, and it's just so giving. It's such a giving atmosphere. So for me, it's been quite hard not being in the dojo for 6 months, because everybody in the dojo is my family, and I don't say that lightly. They are my family. So yeah, it's been a difficult one, I think.
I mean, I've been training martial arts for quite a little while too, and as I've been going to different practices, different martial arts centers, I realized that most of them have a good family vibe, and that's what really helps them
Definitely.
excel and teach these young people and older people too. And I think it's fantastic that I think you guys have a dojo too, you and your dad, and you both train together and you
Mhm.
teach others and live too. Can you tell us a bit more about, the dojo that you have and how did it all start? And the kind of amazing work that you guys do within your local community.
Yeah, sure. So we have dojos running every single day and all around the UK. Um, And my dad started this journey in 1978 was when he opened up his first dojo. He'd been training before that, but when he first opened the dojo was in 1978. And he primarily opened it up in Southall. Um, and it was during the time when there were a lot of racial abuse, racial attacks, and it was quite a tough time for our community. So he'd opened up classes and they became instantaneously popular, because it gave a chance for the community. And there was no discrimination. Everyone was allowed to the classes. And in fact, it was such a
Mm,
mixed, vibe of classes. Everyone used to attend. And from there, it just kind of grew, instilling confidence into people, a strong character, self-defense, strength. My dad has people stopping him on the streets. I kid you not, we can't really go out of the house, sometimes walking down the street without someone stopping us, saying, "Oh my God,
yeah,
Sensei, do you remember me? I wish I never stopped." And they'd go through the whole story and say, "Can I come back?" And it's so amazing, so beautiful, right? But my dad's taught thousands and thousands of students, and that's not like lightly said. It really has taught quite a lot of people, and it's touched quite a few people as well. So it's really a blessed journey. I think to be for Paramatma to bless me into this lifestyle, because this wasn't a choice of mine. I was born into this family. I think it's really a blessing. Like I said, it coincides with Sikhi so much. It's just something you can't really describe. And now that I tell you, I've been away from it for so long. It has been quite hard, I think.
yeah. And I can definitely feel the pain. I can definitely feel the sorrowness inside you, or that eagerness to get back in the dojo, get back into training. I mean, karate is quite
Definitely, yeah.
it's quite a good martial art, and people always talk about, which one is a better martial art? Is it boxing? Is it wrestling? Taekwondo? Is it, MMA? Is it karate? Is it Wing Chun? And people say, which one is better? Which one should I train first? Which one's a better foundation? What would you say, being a karate man, a karate sensei?
I'll say it depends on the instructor, hands down. Everything
Hmm.
is dependent on the instructor and their take on the martial art. I've come across a lot of different karate instructors as well, and they don't teach like we do, but it's because
Hmm.
of, their take, how they absorb it. It's like saying which gyani is the best to go to. It's difficult to say. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So
That's
it's
hilarious.
uh, it's it depends on the instructor, and I feel quite blessed
Yeah,
that
yeah, yeah.
I've been bestowed with a father and an instructor who's so highly sought after in the martial art world, because he's quite worldwide renowned, and he, travels all over. I think just um, just recently now, as the flights have opened up, we've had people fly internationally just to get private sessions from dad, obviously with the COVID guidelines. But yeah, he's just an amazing person in terms of knowledge. So yeah, I would say it depends on the instructor, 100%.
Definitely. And I think for most people, it depends on your local area and the type of options and availabilities and opportunities you have available. Like, for example, myself, like the area that I was raised in, I have a local wrestling class that goes on every twice a week. So that was easy for me
Hmm.
because it's easy to commute. It's like walking distance. So that also depends on where you live. And maybe it's about just searching on Google or Bing or whatever search engine you use and just search for local martial arts classes and you'll find something. So definitely, whereabouts is your dojo located? Just for the people who might be living in your area who might be interested to join your dojo
So
classes.
we've got dojos in North London, South London, West London, East London. In Birmingham, we were literally just about to open up in Birmingham before COVID, but we should be opening up there soon as well.
Awesome.
Up north, yeah. So yeah, it's in Yorkshire. So and now obviously we're going to have classes in Poland too as well. But yeah, it's growing quite well, and I think more than anything, we're getting a lot of phone calls now from a lot of parents
Hmm.
saying, are the classes open? Can we get the kids back in? I think because the parents are number one getting fed up with the kids at home,
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
obviously want to get the children and themselves, the adult classes, they want to get back into some sort of fitness-based exercises and self-defense.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, it's great to do, teamwork and kind of team exercises or, sparring with other people in the dojo. But, periods like this, like having a lockdown or, during a pandemic, you often relied on training with yourself, training at home, having your own home workouts. And it can be difficult for those who are not experienced with this. But someone like you and me, who have been training for quite a while, would have some kind of experience and would know how to do this. So, what are the type of
Yeah.
exercises and workouts you've been working on during this lockdown period?
Mostly I've been doing a lot of cardio, bicycle. I've done a lot of bicycling. I just started doing that just because I just generally enjoy it. And martial art wise, I've been doing a lot of forms, a lot of bag work. I have a bag on my tree, hang it from there. I've been doing a lot of weight training, compensatory acceleration training, um, a lot of stamina endurance exercises as well, and what we would call cutters. So that's like forms in the style that we practice.
Hmm. Awesome, awesome. So I can tell you probably got a lot of equipment at home that you can use. I know a lot of people don't have equipment at home, so they use more body weight exercises.
Yeah. I mean, it's quite easy to practice karate without any equipment. Um, a lot of shadow sparring, a lot of cutters, a lot of body weight
Definitely.
exercises as well. So yeah, I would say definitely, yeah, that's something I've been doing. But I'm quite fortunate and blessed to have a home gym, so I've been training a lot in my home gym as well. Isolate myself in the gym mostly.
Awesome, awesome. So before I get into the next exciting question, I'm gonna ask you to just quickly plug your the dojo name so people can actually search on Google, and if they are interested to join, karate classes in future, they would know where to go. And seeing a singer like
Sure,
yourself, it would definitely encourage other sings and singing here to join too. So go ahead.
100%. UK karate. So if you type down UK karate on Google, it should come up straight away. Click on the website, you'll see a picture of all of our instructors, including me and my father. Instagram is also UK Karate as well. So yeah, it's pretty straightforward, simple, and the style that we do is called Goju Kai, and it's primarily
Okay.
focused on practical self-defense. So we focus mostly on self-defense for street scenarios. So we cover everything from grappling, takedowns, arm locks, wrist locks, sweeps, hand techniques, leg techniques, and we teach what works.
Awesome, awesome. So there you go, guys. If you are interested to join karate classes or get fitter and strengthen yourself, mind, body, and soul, definitely join some karate classes or any martial arts classes that are within your area. Just search on Google. UK Karate is one of them. And on to the next question. So we're both martial artists. I want to ask the big question: who's your favorite martial artist, all-time martial artist? It could be from movies or it could be real life.
I'll have to say my dad.
Your dad. Awesome, awesome.
Yeah.
Why is that?
Yeah, I mean, he's my role model in terms of real life role model. Martial artist that you see probably on TV. Um, I would have to say I really enjoy listening and watching Mike Tyson. I think
Oh yes,
I think
yeah,
he's a very good boxer. Um,
yeah.
yeah, I'd have to say that.
Mike Tyson is the absolute beast, and he still has it yet today as
Yes,
well. He's like 50 plus years old, I believe, and if you just see him,
definitely,
it's just
definitely,
incredible.
100%,
Definitely,
100%. He's
Mike Tyson
one
is
of
an
a kind.
absolute beast. I mean, he was only about 20 years old when he became world champion. At the age of 20,
Mhm.
he defeated all everyone older than him. He's very
That's just
inspirational. Very inspirational.
raw talent, raw skill. And the thing is, at that time as well, he was a showman as well. So obviously, he did have a mouth and he liked
Yeah,
running it. But when credit was due, he was very humble. He was a very humble person. Obviously, I know that came later in life. But
yeah,
when you see his interviews with Muhammad Ali, he said every head must bow. So speaking to Muhammad Ali and saying that to somebody who's obviously your elder and obviously a superior and someone you looked up to, speaks a lot about a person.
definitely. Definitely. And I believe he's got a fight coming soon as well. He's looking to get back into the fight scene, although it's not recommended by a lot of fight experts. But how do you think that will go down?
He'll be fine.
Yeah.
In my mind, whenever I envision Mike Tyson, I don't envision him as he is today or what he was when he was fighting Lennox Lewis. I always see him as when he was in his prime. Um,
Hmm.
I think he was manipulated and he was abused a lot as well by his team and the people around him. I didn't think he had a good team of people around him that were moving in his best interest. And unfortunately, he needed good management. He didn't get it. So obviously that led him onto a path which ended his career. So I think he'd be fine. I don't think there's going to be any issue with his fight. But when I do visualize him, I just visualize him as he was in his prime because I think that's probably um, the the truest reflection of what he is as a person, as a martial artist, and what he could have
Hmm.
accomplished had he had the right people around him.
Definitely. I mean, we both know he's got a fight coming up. Do you think maybe you stand a chance fighting against him? Maybe having a nice sparring session? Amrit Ghatore versus Mike Tyson?
I would love to. I would love to. I would have to. If it was just boxing, yeah, why not? But I'd love to do like hands and legs and grappling and anything goes. But
Yeah,
yeah, I'd respect the rules. I'd love to do that. That'd be great. That'd be an honor.
definitely. It's always great to see us sing on TV or see us sing fight another person in a full professional fight. So I think that would be cool if you can maybe get into something like that with Marge good. But
Um,
yeah, so
do you know? The thing is, I was about to. I was going to go into cage fighting. I I met with a team of people who did cage fighting and they organized fights. And I went over and I sparred and we arranged a sparring match in the cage.
mhm.
And it went well for me.
Yeah.
And I came back home and that was one of their top fighters actually. And he just kind of got floored within the first round. And I came home and I
No
told
way.
Dad, he wasn't too happy about it. He wasn't too happy about it because he said to me, "I've been teaching you martial arts your whole life to make sure that you can, defend yourself when the time's needed, and you can defend others when you need to, and spread the art. But I haven't taught you to do martial arts to stand in a cage and get paid to fight at the expense of people's amusement." So that kind of hit. I would have, that kind of hit home to me, and I understood what my dad was saying. Obviously, he's wiser than me. So yeah, I think that was about 4 or 5 years ago. I was going to get into it, and I'd been offered a place to fight in the cage and kind of work my way up. And I think it was quite a renowned fighter at that stage that they had put me. They had arranged something to happen after I'd
Okay.
had a sparring match in the cage and kind of proved myself, as it were. But yeah, I didn't go through with it. I listened to what my father had to say.
Hmm.
At that time, I was a bit
Maybe
bummered
some.
about it. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I mean, maybe that
Yeah,
was giving you the voice choice there. I mean, hey, we could spar maybe
yeah,
one day after this lockdown, after the
yeah,
pandemic stops. We could have a little sparring session too.
yeah. 100%. I'm down for that. No problem. That sounds good.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah. So on the topic of Mike Tyson and this kind of stuff he's done, wrestling tigers and Khabib, great wrestler, also wrestling. I believe it was wrestling bears. Have you ever done anything like that?
Mm.
Wrestling tigers, wrestling bears?
No, no, I haven't fortunately been in a country in a country where we've got access to that type of stuff. But no, I don't think I don't think so. No.
Would you ever try it though?
I think I don't know. I mean, if I was born in a country where those things were readily available and always around me, then probably. I mean, I'd be a different type of person towards animals. But yeah, I always love observing animals, watching them, learning from them. Because most fighting styles
Mhm.
are based on animal fighting styles, and there's a lot you can learn from animals. Understanding where most of the power comes from, how they utilize the floor in order to strike, utilizing back muscles, not the chest muscles, because the back muscles are where the power can be generated from. So yeah, it's very, very interesting watching them, and I love watching it. In fact, I spend a lot of time watching Animal Planet.
Definitely, yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, what's his name? Oh, I forgot his
David
name was
Attenborough.
the main. Yeah, yeah, yeah. The legend is. How did I forget his name? The legend himself. He's amazing, man. His voiceovers are
Yeah,
absolutely incredible. Absolutely
yeah,
incredible.
one of a
It
kind.
is a pleasure to
It's
watch
like
those.
like a Morgan. Only some people have that voice.
Yeah,
You got the David Attenborough, you got Morgan Freeman, and then in the Sikh community we've got Gyani Singh Maskinji. His voice is just unparalleled.
amazing. Definitely,
Yeah.
definitely, definitely legendary. So I'm going on to the next topic. So we're talking about karate. What are the different belt stages you have for some of the people who have never gone into karate? Like, we know everyone
Mhm.
knows a black belt. But what about the first stage, the second straight stage, and on to the next ones?
So we've got white, yellow, orange, red, green, blue, purple, brown, brown one, brown two, and then black. And in between the belts, if you're a child, then we have stages available for them. So they can go from
Hmm.
white, then they go to half yellow, depending on obviously the age and the capability of the child. But adults is just pass or fail. You either pass
Yeah.
or you have to do it again.
All right. All right. On the topic of, the community, how is it important for, especially the Sikh community or other communities to get into martial arts, learn self-discipline, and, become a better individual?
Um, I think it's important, mostly for character building, and giving that person sense of confidence and belief in what they choose to follow in life. Um, I think, unfortunately, a lot of youth these days are easily swayed, uh, easily persuaded, easily led astray. And I think it's due to a lack of character building, a lack of foundation, not only in what's been told to you. I mean, you can have your parents speak to you and describe to you, tell you stories about Sikhi and explain to you about Gurbani, but if the foundation is not there, it has nothing to stick to. So sometimes these things are said, the parents try their best to keep their children astray and on a good path, but it's like it's not sticking onto their character. So I think in terms of discipline, character building, the ability to say you're going to do something and do it, and see something and achieve it. To have all these things inside you as a person, and then have knowledge bestowed upon you, is a much more fruitful life, because that knowledge is being absorbed and it sticks to you. So I think it's very important. And I think martial arts and the self-defense, you notice I haven't really touched upon, the punching and the kicking and the fighting. If you see my YouTube videos, you see my Instagram video, you won't see me shy
Yeah.
away from doing that. But there's
Yeah.
more to martial arts, from what I've understood, than just punching and kicking. Punching and kicking, defending yourself, that will happen. I can teach anyone to punch and kick and fight. I can teach anyone to do that. But what I can't teach anyone to do is be a good person. So that's why in the
Mm.
dojo, first thing we do is we try to um, create that foundation, give a good character. And then once you've been given a skill, which is so highly sought after, it's dangerous. I mean, doing a knee joint kick to someone's knee, an elbow to the face, and a punch to the throat. These are all aggressive and vicious attacks, right? So, in order
Definitely.
to teach somebody this and allow someone to do that in a controlled environment, you got to make sure you got a good character, that you got
Definitely.
standing in front of you. So
Definitely.
before we obviously allow all of that, I mean, in our dojos, when we're adults, we have full contact. We don't really wear anything. It's full contact, and it's only when you're ready, by the way, and only when we feel
Mhm.
you're ready. But that's how we train. We do full grappling takedowns, arm locks, wrist locks, sweeps, full contact punches, groin strikes, elbows. But then by that time, you're at a level where you're able to defend yourself and make sure that you're putting safety first. And it's not just a
Definitely.
vicious kind of no holds barred kind of I'm gonna knock this
Definitely,
person
bro.
out. Um, but it's
No,
everyone has their safety in mind.
definitely. And I think this is
So
why it's really important that we encourage self-defense and not, aggressive fighting, but self-defense too in our community, which is amazing. And on the topic of
of course,
karate, I want to thank you, everyone who's been watching so far. We had to keep this short, but no worries. We're going to launch another episode next week where we're going to talk about not karate, but about Amrit's amazing talent in music. So we'll get into that episode very soon. But in the meantime, make sure to look after yourself, stay healthy, stay safe, and we will catch you guys till next time. Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh.
Waheguru.